Okay, you can go over to the next slide. Hi everyone, my name is Yumiko and my team's name is Arizata. For this project, I interviewed high school students of all grades, ages, and ethnicities. I interviewed mental health workers, teachers, parents, community leaders, and I even used some of my own experiences in order to create the app DEPI. Yeah, next slide. So, what is the DEPI app? The DEPI app is a mental health app that has more human interactions, more human sensitivity, and more real life answers to issues instead of generic answers. What do I mean by more human interactions? DEPI spends a lot of time trying to get to know its users. What do I mean by more human sensitivity? We understand that many people who come from different religions, sexualities, and even cultures are sensitive and triggered by many things. So the app really works on minimizing those triggers. When it comes to other apps, they tend to cost a lot of money and or they focus more on the issue at hand instead of the human behind those issues. When it comes to DEPI, we're free of charge and we focus a lot more on the human as well as the issue they face. With DEPI, you can expect to see personal therapists be assigned to each of our users because each of our users deserve to have a stable type of shoulder to lean on. You can expect to see a lot more human connection. Sorry, a fire truck is passing. Okay. You can expect to see a lot more human connection. What do I mean by that? If, let's say, a user of ours feels a lot more comfortable speaking to a therapist who shares a similar race, ethnicity, culture, sexuality, the DEPI app works to assign a therapist to them because everyone deserves to have a choice. The DEPI app is extremely inclusive, meaning anyone can use it, no matter your race, like I said, your race, sexuality, and or ethnicity. And DEPI is extremely centered around personal experience. The app is built around your personality and your personal experiences. We work really hard to get to know the person and then working on building the person. It's a lot more than a mental health app. It's more of a mentoring app. If I had a lot more time to work on this, I think I would have changed the fact that I didn't interview enough people to the point where my app was a lot more inclusive to older men and women. Now, don't get me wrong, it is very inclusive to people who are older, but the age demographic tends to start at early high school, so like ninth grade, and ends at late college, so senior or graduate school. Now, my inspiration behind this app, we were told to make an app that fixes an issue within our community. I am a Afro-Caribbean child of an immigrant parent, a single parent, and I see that a lot in our community that Black people or just people of minorities, their issues, especially mental health issues, tend to get swept under the rug, made fun of, or just not get a lot of attention. There's an extreme lack of mental health and help within minority communities. To me, to me, this was more than just a school project. It was me taking a stand and saying there's an issue in this society and we need to make a change. I'm a firm believer that if you see something that needs to be changed in your world, then you should take the first steps towards making that change. So that was the inspiration and the reason behind the DEPI app. One thing I'm extremely proud of was my ability to forge a human connection with my users. I had a few people try out the model I made that you'll see in just a second. And they said that they felt the app actually kind of cared about what they were going through. And if it were a real app, they would actually use it. So without further ado, let's go into my Figma, which was the interface I used to make the prototype for my app. And for this part, anyone can volunteer if you want it. I just need someone to kind of like pretend to be a user or to be a user because it's really focused on your choices. So would anyone like to volunteer?
I can volunteer.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so when you click into the app, it'll ask you if you want to sign up for the app or just skip right ahead to the question. So which one would you like to pick?
We'll skip so I can get to the real part of the app.
Alrighty. Now, when you press skip, you'll get to a kind of not warning screen, but just kind of like a screen to tell you what you're about to go into. It's basically saying that you're about to go answer a few questions so we can get to know you as a person, and that the app, once it's finished answering and analyzing questions, can be designed around who you are as a person. And it's asking you to be truthful and to answer questions if you are comfortable with them. If not, you can always just skip it. Continue. Alrighty, so we'll click into life. And let's pick, what would you like to click? Job, home life, or person?
Let's try person.
Okay, person. Now, when you click into person, okay, so to further prove how much we really care about getting to know you as a person, this entire demonstration will just be the first parts of getting into the app, and then the first sort of like days of using the app. So these are just a few sample questions you'll be asked if you were to pick on person. They'll ask you what kind of person you think you are. What do you think of yourself? What kind of person do you want to be in the future? What's something you like and dislike about yourself? And there'll be more questions, but these are just a few samples. You can go back. What else would you like to pick?
Let's try mind.
Mind, okay. With mind, it'll ask you what are your hobbies, your age, and your ethnicity and race, if you would prefer to put it in. It'll ask you if you've ever been diagnosed with a mental disorder, and just if you are a student or a student in high school or college, it'll ask you if you want to connect to Google Classroom or whatever school interface you use. What else?
Try future.
Okay. For your future, it'll ask if you would like to be assigned with a therapist. Again, all these questions are just sample questions. There'll be a lot more questions and they are optional to answer. So would you like to be assigned a therapist? What kinds of changes would you actually like to see with this therapist? And what areas in your life and in your personality would you like to see change in? Click next. And after you fill it out, it's gonna calculate and do all that technical stuff, and you can move on. And it'll bring you to a temporary main page. Now for here, I just want to show you how it works. So can you click into plan? Plan. Yeah. So when you go into here, like I said, this is all like an app based around how you feel and what type of experience you want. So it'll ask you if you would prefer to have plan A, which is a full package where you get both a therapist, we help you with scholarly stuff, so building scholarly skills, help you with networking, just all areas of your life, whatever it may be. Then we have plan B, which would be a semi-package, which is completely customizable, where you actually pick what you would like to see changes in and what you would actually like to work on. And then plan C is like the simple version of the app, which would be like what's it called? Like a meditation app. We just work on life tips. We help you take mini breaks from the day, meditating and really doing like wellness tips. For this scenario, I clicked on the full package for you, and we'll go into a tour of the app. So when you first come into the app, it's telling you that you'll see this as your temporary main page, which is just introducing you to all the things you'll see once you get to your actual main page. Continue. And now that you've chosen a plan and you've come this far, it'll take you to another page where you will pick a therapist based on all the answers we got from your questions. So for people, some of them have said, I am Asian American or I'm African American. I feel comfortable with a therapist who is also African American because we can share similar experiences, and that way my growth will be a lot more. And you would pick your therapist and you press the arrow. After you pick your therapist, you can move on. Yeah. So after you pick your therapist, this screen is telling you that your therapist will be contacting you in 30 minutes or so, and you guys can sit down and have your first consultation. Who are you? Who am I? Where I've studied? What type of changes do I want to see in my life? What do I expect to come out of this therapy session or just out of having a therapist? What type of boundaries do you want to set with your therapist? And just all sorts of things that you would talk about with a normal therapist. Click on the arrow. And then after you've taken the tour and you've picked your therapist and you've been contacted, you would click on T6, which would take you to your new and improved permanent home page or main page. You can press next. And here is what it would look like. You would obviously put in a picture if you would want to, and every day you come in, you would have new updates. So for this scenario, this person still hasn't hooked up to Google Classroom, so you can click on the Google Classroom icon. And it's basically telling you all the benefits of connecting to Google Classroom. So as a student, we can see where you're falling behind. We can send you updates on, asking you what's been going on, why you've been falling behind, what type of extra help do you think you need. And it's just really this part of hooking up to Google Classroom is for the benefit of your academic life. So you can go back to the home. And then you can click, when you scroll down, you'll see it says, we found some interest, the green box. The green box, yeah. Aside from just being a mental health app, we really want to focus on the person, as we said, as a soul. And many people have interest, and a lot of mental health apps I saw really just focus on, oh, you have depression, breathe this, take deep breaths, and do this. They don't really try to work on finding positive coping mechanisms, which is why we put this feature in, which you put in your interest. I like drawing. So if, let's say, the DEPI app finds like a bargain somewhere online that says, we have what's it called? We have drawing classes for this person that you might be interested in. Please, send them this notification. Or we have acting classes for this person. Or let's say you aren't a student and you're someone who is in grad school or even in undergrad and you're looking for a job or something, and you put into the app, I'm looking for a job, I'm interested in being a lawyer, this, and that. The DEPI app will send you notifications for open job applications. So if you can click on link, clicking on the link will take you to a screen that'll ask if this is within your price range. This is also trying to get to know you as a user. You'll put in, this is not really in my price range, or this is in my price range. That way, DEPI, for future references, know this person wants to stick between, let's say, $50 and or $200. And then you'll either take the class or won't take the class. And then you can click on, do you want to talk about school? Since this is in a student mode. And it'll say your therapist has sent you her schedule or his or her schedule. They want to send it to you so you can match it up with your schedule, see if you guys can find some dates, and then sit down on a regular basis and have your conversations. Go back to your home. And then for the red box, on the right box, this one, I think we can all admit that we all use social media a little too much. And sometimes it's not a problem, but I found from personal experience that social media really impacts the way I think about not just myself, but about the world. And it really sometimes brings down our mood. So the DEPI app tracks your social medias, be it TikTok, Snapchat, or Instagram. And it has certain timers on it. So for me, I have school and I have extracurricular activities. So maybe I just want to be on social media platforms for about 30 minutes a day altogether, combining Instagram and TikTok. Those timers will automatically be put on those apps. And once you hit that timer, it'll put the app to sleep for a while or just shut it down for the day. And then tomorrow again, you try again, you have your 30 minutes. It's helping you stick to a schedule. And you can click on wellness for today. No matter what new updates you have in your app, it's always going to have this button, which is wellness for today. It's going to have affirmations. Some people, we all struggle with insecurity. So affirmations and maybe a way to really melt down from the day, take a step back from the day. So for this scenario, it would be time to meditate. For another one, it would be, did you drink water today? For another one, it may be, have you tried gratitude journaling? And if you are a religious person, have you read your Bible? Have you read the Quran? It depends on who you are as a person. This would be different. And what's next? Yeah, thank you. These are the sources where I got my images from. Do not copyright it. That's it. Thank you for your time.
Oh my gosh, great job. I love how much you've built out this app. And I think it's evident how many people you interviewed and how much user research you did in order to come up with these ideas that really meet a lot of people's needs and address some of the problems with other mental health apps, and you really are, I felt that you're taking the person into consideration. It really comes through with your design. Judges.
Your presentation style is excellent, right? You're very articulate. You're very clear. So I very clearly understood, everything that you were telling me. You're also very prepared. You clearly put a lot of time into this, and you know what you're talking about, right? And that was very, very clear to me. Obviously, you mentioned it. You're passionate. I can see your passion. You recovered well, right? When that fire engine or police car went by, that was a disruption, right? But you didn't get frazzled. You just said, "Excuse me," and you continued, right, without missing a beat. And sometimes that's not easy to do. And from the app itself, there's a lot of features in it. right? And choosing, you know, the most important features is always a challenging part. And I thought you did a great job of picking the features that will best support your app. And I love the personalization, right? The fact that you can go back to that homepage and now it's something that's me, right? That's gonna make me want to go back to your app. So yeah, nice job. This is great.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Going back to the presentation, I loved your confidence. Keep that. You did a great job. You were very confident in everything you said. And that goes a long way. Doesn't matter what you're talking about. If you believe in it, the people you're talking to will start to believe in it. And you know that's what matters. Also, just to add to what some of the other judges said, I loved the integration idea. I didn't, see a lot of in-depth. I didn't see you go in-depth into that, but I love the idea that you can integrate this app with Google Classroom. That's a big thing nowadays. A lot of people will choose an app just because they can integrate it with something on their desktop, if that makes sense, right? So yeah, I think you did a wonderful job. Very good presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.